Hello guys, welcome back. Another day. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be previewing and doing a sort of Q&A for the 2019 NHL Draft, starting on the 21st through the 22nd. Now, as I'm recording this, I think we're 6 days away from the NHL Draft, but again, I want to do something a little bit more live, get some questions as well, make sure that I can answer some questions rather than just comments. I tried to do this a couple of times. Unfortunately, because I'm sometimes dumb, I put it on private a couple of times, so we're good now. We should be fine. I think we're fine. But this will probably go for around an hour, I think. I'm thinking that. So again, to everyone in everyone in the comments right now, make sure you're asking questions. So I'll go through a lot of them. We got all the beauties. We got Latinga's God. We got everyone. We got Faye. We got Five Gun. We got Seth. We got Minka. We got all the beauties right now. And of course, if you're watching this on the replay, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It greatly is appreciated. Right now, we're trying to get to 6,000, 1,070 subscribers. I think if we can do that in this live stream, that would be insane as well. But again, I'm thinking with this live stream, I'm going to try and do it as best as I can. I'll go over a lot of different topics as well, not just questions. So we'll do a lot of different stuff in this live stream. Let's see. First shout out, Jalico. You deserve a shout out right now because you're a beauty, my man. You're a beauty. Yeah, I saw that huge trade. I'm not a big NBA guy though, to be honest. Though I am happy for the Raptors, 100%. But again, when it comes to the whole live stream here, again, I will do the live streams for the NHL Draft. That'll be on the 21st and the 22nd. I'll be doing probably what I'm thinking is I'll go for the first round until the 5th round, so I'll do the first round on the 21st, and then until maybe the 5th round on the 22nd. That's what I'm thinking right now. Who do you think the Pens are taking, Grav? I think in my mock draft I had Bobby Brink going to Pittsburgh, and I still think that is relatively realistic with Bobby Brink, though he could be a guy that maybe slides in or slides back in the draft, not to Pittsburgh, but maybe down into like the late 10s. So I think that could be the case there, though. If Pittsburgh could get him, again, I think he would be an excellent fit there. Him on that top 6 would just be friggin' disgusting. And having him with Crosby, man, like, that would just be so good. And I'm not gonna lie, like, Bobby Brink is basically a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's basically that. Like, it just sucks because he's the type of guy that's like the perfect fit on Pittsburgh. You do not want him to go to Pittsburgh because he'll be just too good. He goes to Pittsburgh, dominates, and then signs with Buffalo or something, basically like Connor Sheary or something. But yeah, with Bobby Brink, again, I think he is a definite chance to go there. If he isn't available, I say maybe they go after a guy like maybe Seider. I think he's a solid fit there as well. Maybe Arthur Kaliev if he's available. Maybe a guy like Cam York. Maybe go Philip Broberg if he's available as well. But though Pittsburgh has some options, I think they could go for a lot of different stuff. I don't think they're dialed in on one position, to be honest. So I think they can go after a lot of different ones. But with Pittsburgh, again, they have so many different options. So again, I would say Bobby Brink. That's still my prediction for them. But they can go for a ton of different guys, to be honest. If the YouTube can load the chat, please, that'll be also nice. YouTube, let's go. What is your least favorite team? Nathan, my least favorite team is the Chicago Blackhawks. As a Dallas Stars fan, where is that the hat right there? As a Dallas Stars fan, I don't like Chicago too much, and as a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, 2015, man. I'm so sad. Let's see. What do you think about Tony Honka? And Tony Honka, I think, is maybe, I don't know if he's the most underrated prospect in this draft, but he's definitely one of them. I've seen so many people have him outside of their 3rd round and stuff like that, but he does not deserve that. I think he is a 2nd round prospect, just barely, but I think he is that kind of potential. He has so much potential. As I said in my riskiest prospects video, I think it was that one. I'm pretty sure. I said that he was pretty risky, which is true. The guy is a lot of risk. But if you take him in the 2nd round, I think that is a good risk to take. He has so much offensive potential. Man, even though when it comes to his stats, he had a meh Liga season compared to what he probably should have put up. I still think he was solid this season. I still think the risk you take when you take him is pretty solid. And again, that boom or bust potential, I will stress with Tony Honka, is too good. Now, I have the topic up here as Hughes versus Kakko, because I was about to just start with that. Let me see. I'm gonna remove that for a second because I do not want to be changing this every like 2 seconds. So let me just quickly delete that. But yeah, when it comes to the Hughes versus Kakko thing, I was going to start out with that. But I'll just leave it right there. So yeah, with the Jack Hughes versus Kaapo Kakko thing, if you're new to this channel, I don't know what to tell you. I like Kaapo Kakko. He's my favorite player in the draft. I think he's the best prospect in this draft. I think he should go number 1. I don't think he will go number 1. I think it's Jack Hughes going number 1. That's my solidified prediction that Jack Hughes goes to the New Jersey Devils. But I still think Kaapo Kakko is the better prospect. Just settling that debate in stone right there. You predicted the Blues to win the Cup. Yes, I did. If you did not watch my, I think it was my comparison video earlier today, make sure you do so. That I guess I kind of spoiled it. I did predict the Blues to win the Cup, which was pretty awesome. Who do you think the Rangers draft 20, or do you think they'll trade up? Honestly, C's, I could see them trading up possibly. I don't know if they'll go into the top 10 or something, but I could see them going in like the 11 to maybe 14 range with NYR. Though at number 20, they kind of like Pittsburgh have a lot of different options. I would personally go with a guy like Ville Heinola, maybe a Moritz Seider. Nils Höglander would fit perfectly, as well as Pavel Dorofiev. There's some solid prospects though that New York can take. I've seen some people that say that after the top 20 it kind of drops off. I can kind of see that, but New York should have a decent pick in number 20. I think they should, honestly, and I think they'll get a decent player. I would probably at that point pick a guy like Nils Höglander, though we'll see what they have available at that point. I have a question. Do you think the Jets are going to win next year? Honestly, Carlo, this year, I really didn't see it. I didn't see that from them. I did not see the potential to win a cup in that team. They've been seeming to make some changes. At least they've been rumored to make some changes. Looks like a guy like Nikolai Ehlers might be out of there. Maybe you get a guy like Patrick Laine out of there, which would be absolutely insane. Though there's been a lot of mixtures. There's been a lot of rumors out there. I don't think they're all going to happen, actually. I don't think Nikolai Ehlers, Patrick Laine, Trouba, Myers will all be gone, but I think there will be some big moves, and I think that is for the better. Winnipeg just kind of has a weird mojo. I just don't really know where to put it, because Winnipeg is just a weird team right now. They have the talent, I think, to win a Stanley Cup in the next few years, but I would probably say no, just because I think that locker room is just kind of yikes right now, though we'll see what happens. First pick is for 53rd, to be honest. Hey, we'll draft Kaapo Kakko 53rd. Don't worry about that, Luke. I hope Karlsson goes to the Habs. If he could become a Dallas Star, I would like that too. By the way, I got some A&W root beer. You know it right there. Thoughts on John Beecher? He's a pretty interesting prospect, Jake, because I've seen a lot of people maybe putting him in the first round, which for me, I just don't see why you do that with Beecher. I think he's a solid bet to make the NHL, but you don't pick a prospect like that in the first round. Yes, he is a solid bet to make the NHL, but he'll just do that. He'll maybe be like a fourth, maybe third line center. I just don't see the potential in John Beecher if you're taking him in the first round. I mean, yes, he is a solidified, I think, NHL talent. Maybe it makes sense for a team that needs a center long term that is already in the playoffs. They don't need that star prospect that could either be boom or bust. But I just think taking him in the first round would be a little bit unwise, in my opinion. I think I had him at like the 60s or something in my final draft rankings. I think it was something like that. Yeah, when it comes to John Beecher, I think he has decent defensive abilities, or at least some decent offensive abilities, but I don't feel like he'll be better than the third line center, to be honest. When is the draft, Kyle? It is the 21st versus the 22nd. And again, I will be streaming that, the round 1 versus round 5. That's what I'm planning right now, so hopefully I'll see you guys as well for that one. Right now, I got 36 amazing people in here. If you haven't already hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure you do so. And again, to everyone on the replay watching this after the live stream, thanks so much for tuning in. I definitely appreciate you. Are you concerned about the recent hip injury to Alex Turcotte? Can he slip outside the top 5? I don't think it was a recent injury, right? I don't think it was recent. It was like before the season started, right? Because I know he had surgery on that hip, and he was sidelined for about 2 months there. That was one of the main reasons why he wasn't number 3 for me for a while there. But when it comes to Alex Turcotte, I don't think it's too much. Again, I think that injury was back in like August or something. I think it is healed. I think he is fine. Oh, Rob Talks Hockey just donated $3.72. What a beauty. Hey, Grav. How's it going, Rob? Excellent channel. If you have not subscribed to Rob, make sure you do so. Puts out great content. Just donated $3. Holy friggin' crap. Get some hype in the chat for that. That is absolutely amazing. Thanks so much, man. And how's you doing? Jared Petron just subscribed. Thanks so much, Jared. You get the Brad Marchand kiss gift. By the way, I will probably have to change that because the Stanley Cup final is over. I'll probably change that kiss gift. Just watch right there. Do you think McDavid will get traded? Yes. No, I'm kidding. No, it's probably not going to happen, though who knows at this point. Right now, what Spencer Knight will be a good fit in Ottawa? I think so, William. They don't really have... I mean, they have Philip Gustafsson, who is a solid goaltending prospect, but he's not anything really special. I feel like Spencer Knight would be a decent fit in Ottawa, though they have the 19th overall pick, so I wouldn't think they would go after that, at least in number 19. I mean, it could be decent, but I'd rather Ottawa go for another positional player, forward or defense, because I think just it's the better need right there for them. Let's see. Thoughts on Victor Soderstrom, Max? I think Soderstrom is a very, very great player. Loren, thanks so much for subscribing, man. You get the Brand Marchand kiss gift. Absolute beauty. When it comes to Soderstrom, though, I do like his overall ability. That's what really stands out with him, is that he can do a lot of different things. Offensively, physicality, defensively. He is solid in all areas, I think, with Victor Soderstrom. He's not a Philip Broberg that stands out with his skating. He stands out in the overall game, and that's something that I'm a big fan of. Victor Soderstrom is able to bring a lot, and he brought that in the SHL of Brynäs, and I feel like I'm kind of a little bit of a fanboy on him, but I do like his abilities quite a lot. I don't think he'll be like a superstar defenseman or anything, but if you take him in the top 15, I think he's a pretty solid bet to become a top 2 defenseman. Do you think Alex Vlasic will go in the first round because the Devils could take him at 34? He's a pretty interesting prospect, Alex. I personally wouldn't take him in the first round whatsoever. Maybe not even in the first half of the second round, but when it comes to Alex Vlasic, he's a guy that could potentially jump because of his USDP stats. I think he's a solid defenseman. I think he'll probably become maybe a top 6 guy in the NHL, but I don't really see that high-end potential that some people are seeing in him. Again, I haven't seen too much of him, but I'm not the biggest fan of what I've seen so far. Vegas is taking Knight. If Vegas takes Knight, oh my gosh, some of you guys know Vegas is my third favorite team. If Vegas takes Knight, man, I'm going to be sad. I mean, no hard feelings against Spencer Knight, but my gosh, the chances of Nils Hoglander or Pavel Dorofeev on that team, just give that to me, man. I would love that so much. I'm currently in the Calgary area from Abbotsford to No. Not bad, Rob, not bad. I like that. Calgary is pretty bad, not going to lie. Hey, Grav, you're the best. No, you, Ryan. No, you. Hello, Skinner. Welcome to the stream, my man. Rangers with the best prospect pool after this year's draft. I would say at the very least they're top 3, Charles. And when you add a guy like Jack Hughes or Kaapo Kakko, you're doing pretty well for yourself. So I think when it comes to NYR, though, they are a very exciting team. Their prospect pool is very exciting. I don't know if I would put them ahead of Carolina right now, but I still think with New York, they're definitely top 3. Let's see. Any Habs hats? Well, I got good news for you, baby. Right here, boom! I love this Habs hat. It is an absolute favorite of mine. Now, I also want to mention that the 2019 NHL draft order is finalized because with the St. Louis Blues winning the Stanley Cup, it goes, I think at the end, it's Anaheim at number 29, it's Boston at number 30, and then it's Buffalo at number 31. Because of Buffalo, with the whole Ryan O'Reilly trade to get the 31st overall pick, but the Habs hat right here. But yeah, when it comes to that whole order, again, there was a couple of spots, that St. Louis and Buffalo spot that wasn't completely finalized. But we get that done, we know who's drafting 30th and 31st. Thankfully, it's Boston at number 30. I love that, not gonna lie. Habs hats are beautiful since they're the Habs, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know about that, Luke. To be honest, I kind of prefer the sleeve set. I kind of prefer the sleeve set. Maybe I should wear it right now. Who knows? Will you live stream on June 21st? Yes, I will, Julian. When I stream the NHL draft, I'll also be streaming the NHL awards on the 19th, so watch out for that. But yes, I will be here for the NHL draft completely. Who do you like more, Blues or Bruins? That's the thing, because I don't really like either team, I'm going to be honest. They're kind of both meh for me, but I would probably go with the Boston Bruins just barely. But the thing is, again, with that Stanley Cup final, I was cheering for the Blues because I wanted to see a new Stanley Cup winner. Yes, I am still salty about the second round. Do not talk about it, please. But yeah, when it comes to the St. Louis Blues, I mean, I don't really like them too much, but I am still happy for them. I talked about it in the Discord. If you haven't joined that, make sure you do so in the description. I talked about that, how I'm like kind of happy for them, but at the same time, still pissed off that the St. Louis Blues won the Cup. It's a pretty weird situation, isn't it? But I also wanted to mention a couple of other things, and some things that I didn't have really mentioned on the channel yet. One of the big things was Peyton Krebs and his Achilles tendon surgery. Now, this was a big deal. It was like right after the NHL Combine, so we got a little bit of big news there. But yeah, Peyton Krebs did get surgery on his Achilles tendon, which I think it was one of those off-season workout things, I think is what it said that he got injured on, which is rough. I think it said that he'll be out for the training camp for whoever ends up drafting him, which, again, is pretty rough for him. But again, I feel like that's the type of injury that, yeah, that hurts his draft stock, but I don't really think it should. Peyton Krebs is still an excellent player. In no way should he go out of the top 10 because he got an Achilles tendon surgery. It doesn't make sense really at all whatsoever, and I think it might actually infect his draft stock. I definitely wouldn't put him. I think I had him at number 8. I want to say in my mock draft, in my prediction mock draft. I think he might drop out of the top 10 now because of that surgery, and he shouldn't. It doesn't matter whatsoever, but I think he will somehow. It's just when it comes to Krebs, he's still an excellent player. I still love him to death. That surgery does hurt, but I've seen some people, again, putting him out of the top 10, which is just bad. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think the Krebs injury hurts his stock. If a team is targeting him, I can't see them not taking him because of it. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I think should happen. If a team passed on him because of the Achilles tendon surgery, And I give up hope on the NHL at that point, to be honest. Do you like or the New York Islanders better? When it comes to both teams, Jalico, I'm not like the biggest fan of either. I probably still say the New York Islanders right now for me, though they're kind of in the same kind of position. Though NYR, if they get a guy like Artemi Panarin 2 on top of a guy like Kaapo Kakko, and they might be in my top 15, honestly. They could be rising up quite a bit. Who do you think the Red Wings will draft? Master J, I think in my mock draft, I had the Red Wings drafting Trevor Zegras, which is interesting because when it comes to that whole spiel, I was kind of, I wanted them to take the center there, and it was kind of deflecting on my actual opinion. I think when it comes to Detroit, though, a winger also makes sense. When I made that Trevor Zegras prediction, I said it could go any way, and I still think it could. They could go after a guy like Caulfield, Podkolzin, hey, maybe even Payne Krebs if it doesn't affect their draft stock whatsoever. But I think when it comes to Detroit, I still said Trevor Zegras. I'll still stick with that, though Caulfield and Podkolzin, I think he's looking extra good for them right now. I don't think they should draft Podkolzin 6, by the way. I don't think that should ever happen. Ever, but I think it could happen because Detroit is just wacky sometimes. Though Yzerman should be pretty smart. Any good defensive defenseman in this draft? That's a good question, Paulie. When it comes to defensive defenseman, there isn't that one stud defensive defenseman like a guy like Jet Wu last year's draft. I don't think there's that one guy that has that pedigree, but there's a lot of solid defensemen that have good defensive capabilities. The one guy that I kind of go back to, especially if it fills his potential, is a guy like Ryan Johnson. He was in the, I'm pretty sure the USHL this season. He has some solid defensive capabilities. He's amazing in zone entries, just doesn't allow any of those. Scotching Reports has excellent stuff on that. When it comes to Ryan Johnson, though, I think he's pretty underrated. I think he's probably going to win the second round, probably early second round-ish, but I think he has potential to become a very good shutdown defenseman in the NHL for sure. Not a great offensive guy, but has solid offensive abilities too. Am I the only one that would love Spencer Knight as a Florida Panther? I mean, William, when it comes to the Florida Panthers, though, they need that goaltender of the future, and Spencer Knight is that, not going to lie. What do you think about Soderstrom, best defenseman behind Byram? Jared, that is exactly my opinion. When it comes to the defenseman, I think I had Byram number 1, Soderstrom number 2. Number 3, I think, was Moritz Seider. Number 4 was Cam York. And I want to say number 5 was... Harley. I'm pretty sure. Do not quote me, but I think that was. Just joined the Discord. 5-gun, that is amazing. If you haven't joined the Discord, make sure you do so. That is highly, highly recommended. How high will Zegras go? Is he better than Cousins or Doc? I think he is better than Doc, especially. I don't know if he's better than Cousins. It's a pretty close one for me, though. When it comes to Zegras, again, I had him at number 6. I think that's about the range he'll go to. Again, when it comes to Buffalo or Edmonton, I think they should go for a winger, but having Trevor Zegras available, I think they could go after that, though if he isn't available, or let's say he slips past Detroit and goes past Buffalo and Edmonton, I think he's a pretty solid fit in Anaheim, to be honest, though also a guy like Kirby Doc if he's available too. Thoughts on Alex Newhook? Faye, he's a pretty amazing, talented scorer. When it comes to this year's draft, I was kind of, at the beginning of the season, kind of neglecting him because he is in the BCHL. It's not a great league by any means, but I think he has solid potential, especially offensively. The guy can skate, has amazing puck skills. We saw that, how he just dominated the BCHL every single game. And yes, the BCHL sucks, but I don't know. I just liked what I saw from him. But also, I want to mention a big thing that was just revealed about, I think it was a couple of hours ago, a little bit of a tidbit. So, every single year, of course, there's NHL draft hats. Every single NHL draft, it seems to be a new design. But the 2019 NHL draft hats were, I don't think they were leaked, but they were never really officially revealed by the NHL. At least, I don't think I really saw any confirmation by them. But we did get a good look at a lot of the different draft hats for a lot of different teams. And I'll show you guys here. Give me a second. I'll show it on the phone. Great. We got some great quality here, boys. Great quality. So you can see here, it's a little bit plain, but this is the 2019 NHL draft hats, and this is the New York Rangers. They got a little bit of a bluish right there. They got a red cap right there. Now, a big thing to note. Now, those designs on the draft hats are very basic. That is for sure. But also on the, I'm trying to get, let's see. Yeah, when it comes to the brims, though, there's a lot of extra stuff there. When it comes to the brims, like this part right here, this part, it basically has the city name and then the, I think it's the state or the province. And on the caps, which is the weirdest part, really, or at least the coolest part, they have the maps of the city. So it's like if you had like a face-down view, let's say, for instance, Vancouver, they had Vancouver, BC on the cap, and then they had like the city layout on top, on the bottom of it, it, which was really weird. And I'm not going to lie, it kind of freaked me out for a second because I thought those were just like weird designs or something, that they just had like a couple of different stuff. But it's actually the design of the mouse, which Luke on Discord again pointed out, which was very interesting. I think that's honestly a fantastic touch, and every single city does have a different design. So I'm thinking that's a super nice touch to a pretty basic hat on the top. I mean, there's not a lot to it, but having that stuff on the brim kind of saves it. Now, it doesn't really matter too much since it's the brim, but I do like the overall designs. Some of them kind of suck a lot, but some of them I think I'm a big fan of. Again, they are more simplistic, but they go for that feel right there. Do you think the Devils will be one of the busiest teams in the draft in the offseason? I would say so for sure, William. I mean, New Jersey, they have to sign a guy like Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall has said in the past that he wants that team to be improved if he wants to go back. So I'm thinking with New Jersey, yes, they'll be very, very active. Not trading the first overall pick, but other than that, I would say so. I saw the Sabres hat no longer has silver in the logo. Wait, really? That's interesting, Skinner. If they're changing their overall logo, I'm a pretty big fan of that because the silver, I'm not the biggest fan of that outside. So basically, let me try and get the hat here. Where is it? Okay, there we go. There we go. So I got the 2018 NHL draft out of the Buffalo Sabres. So if they're getting rid of the silver, then that means they get rid of the outline here on the logo and then the outline on the swords. I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure. I'll put the hat back up there. But if they get rid of the silver, I'm a big fan of that, not going to lie. Can you talk about the Montreal Canadiens? Of course I can, Anna. Of course I can. When it comes to the Montreal Canadiens at number 15, they have a lot of different options. I think they're going for the defenseman. I think it will be Cam York if he is available at that point. Maybe they go for a guy like Moritz Seider, possibly. Philip Broberg would be awesome as well. Awesomely humorous. That would be great. But again, when it comes to Montreal, I think they're going for a defenseman. I think they should go after Artur Kaliev if he isn't picked up to that point. But I think Cam York is the guy. I kind of had that before, but it seems like he's been also linked to them as well, so I like that connection for them. Talk about the Hawks, Jacob. Might as well. They have a third overall pick. Now, I made a video about that third overall pick, whether it would be Bowen, Byram, or Alex Turcotte being picked there. But I still think it'll be... It's interesting because I think Alex Turcotte should be the third overall pick, but either or will be fantastic for the Blackhawks. Though it's looking like right now they're kind of leaning towards Alex Turcotte just a little bit. Now, again, both players are fantastic. I think both players are probably third overall worthy. I would personally go with Alex Turcotte. He has an amazing future with Chicago. He's a hometown boy as well, so he'd also got that connection there. But I think Chicago needs that first line center. While their defense is bad, they got obviously Boquist and Jokic Harsha coming up through the systems, which will likely be the top two of the future already. So when it comes to Chicago, again, I think they should go after Alex Turcotte, and I think it's more leaning that direction now. Since the Combine, there's been a little bit of info coming out about Chicago's direction. Right now, I still think it's locked between Bowen Byram or Alex Turcotte. Right now, it's too close to say, but I would still say they're going after Alex Turcotte right now. Let's see. Who do you think Ottawa takes at 4? Oh, wait. I mean, if Ottawa was at number 4, Bowen Byram will look pretty good on that team, not gonna lie. Any thoughts on who the Minnesota Wild will pick at number 12? Trent, that's a great question. I like that. When it comes to Minnesota, there's a lot of different options there. I don't think they'll be really typical. I don't think they're going to go after a guy that you expect them to go after. I'm thinking a guy like Alex Newhook or possibly a Philip Tomasino. We saw them in last year's draft. They went after Lucas Johansson, I'm pretty sure was his name, a defenseman that should have been nowhere near the first round. He was looking like an absolute bust, and it's not even close. When it comes to this year, I think they'll go after the same strategy. I think they'll jump up for a player that's probably supposed to go in the probably late, I would say mid to late first round, and that's not really a problem. I think Philip Tomasino, he's the guy I predicted to go to Minnesota. He's still a solid fit there, but I'm thinking that's the guy right there. Let's see. Do you think Ehlers gets traded gets traded out of the draft to clear up space for Laine and Connor? Michael, it's so dumb because Nikolai Ehlers had a weird year. I'm gonna say that right now. He had a weird year. He was injured a little bit. That whole thing, it kind of directed towards his whole play. But I think when it comes to Ehlers, that's the guy that you keep. That's the type of player that will rebound next season and will be fantastic. If Winnipeg trades him, it's gonna be. It's going to be really agonizing because I don't really like the Jets, but I don't really hate them whatsoever. I want to see them succeed. That Winnipeg fan base is so good, but trading Ehlers, that would be a big mistake. I think they probably do, if I'm going to bet on anything, I think they do. But again, trading them in the first place, I think is just a bad idea. Draft ADL Trouba to the Wings. I wouldn't be surprised with that, Calvin. I mean, he's been linked a little bit to the New York Rangers as well. But I think with the Detroit Red Wings, there is a decent fit there. Detroit does need defense. We've seen that in the past, especially this season. They need a lot of defense. But when it comes to Trouba, again, I don't think he's relatively an old guy. I think he will be around when Detroit starts to go peak and get that rebuild over with. So I think it will be a decent deal for Detroit. And obviously, when it comes to Winnipeg Jets, they want to get something back. So I don't know what Detroit really has to offer for them in the now. But, I mean, who knows? Detroit does have some solid pieces. Where will Spencer Knight go? Need help for my mock draft. Logan, when it comes to Spencer Knight, I would like to say there's one destination that he's definitely going to, but I'm not going to lie to you. It is very, very spread apart. Spencer Knight is one of the weirdest prospects in this draft as the goaltender to be in this draft. He can go anywhere. I can see him going to the Florida Panthers as early as number 13. I can see him dropping down outside of the first round. It really does depend on how teams figure their goaltending situation and how many contending teams want that next goaltender of the future. And I think there is some solid bets. Florida, again, is the team that's been kind of floated around. I don't think that's the greatest deal if they do actually end up picking up at number 13. But there's also some teams in that area, like Vegas, like potentially Calgary, like Washington potentially, that need that goaltender in the future. And I feel like when it comes to Spencer Knight, he has that first center or that first goaltending position. He has that sort of potential. I don't think he should be taken in the first round. I think I had him at I want to say number 35 in my mock draft or in my prospect predictions. When it comes to Spencer Knight, I think he'll probably go, I would say if I had to bet right now still, probably Calgary at number 26, but again, he is all over the place. Can you speculate a mock trade? What would the Devils pull off at the draft? When it comes to the Devils, though, that's the kind of thing, they could go after a lot of different guys. I kind of like the fit of maybe even a guy like Jacob Trouba. Again, that's the guy that they could go after as well. But there's so many guys that New Jersey kind of needs right now. On defense, offense, anything. They need it right now. Where do you think Jason Struble will go? He's a big riser, Isaac, definitely. I think he's a guy that could potentially be in the second round. He has a lot of potential to go that way. Again, he's a guy that has a lot of potential. I'm pretty sure he was in a high school league in Minnesota this year, which is a pretty solid route. But when it comes to Struble, he was kind of underrated throughout the whole season, and then kind of went on a tear a little bit in the second half, which did propel his draft stock. I think he's a guy that nobody was really heard of, but will end up going the second round or something because he is an actual solid prospect. And hey, it could be a top 4 guy in the NHL someday. I think he does have the potential. Been hearing Hamilton to the Hawks. Thoughts? Dougie Hamilton, Jacob? I heard that there was a little bit of a connection there. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up happening, to be honest. When it comes to Dougie Hamilton, he's a very amazing defenseman. And Chicago got him, man. That would be an amazing ad for them. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, though. Thoughts on Fensori? He's a guy that I've loved to talk about over the last couple of months. He's been a heavy riser, in my opinion. He's a guy that I think should go in the early second round. He has so much potential. The speed that he has is magnificent. Offensively, he's solid. Defensively, I think he's very underrated. He's a guy, again, I think should go in the early second round and would definitely do a lot of damage in the NHL someday. Who would you take between Brady Tkachuk or Jesperi Kotkaniemi? Probably Kotkaniemi right now. Sean, Brady Tkachuk is very solid. He had a pretty great year with the Ottawa Senators, but I would still go Jesperi Kotkaniemi, though both guys are honestly fantastic. Let's see. Seider or Soderstrom, who would you pick? Honestly, both defensemen are fantastic, Lucas. I think Soderstrom was my number 2 defenseman, and Seider was my number 3. So again, I would go, if I could get both, I would love to, but I'd probably go with Victor Soderstrom as my guy there. I love me some Reed Seider. I would love to get both, though if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Victor Soderstrom. Now, another big news of information. I'll get the Habs hat out for this one. So something that was revealed just a few hours ago that was very interesting. So, every NHL draft, usually the day or so after, we get confirmation on where the NHL draft the next year will be hosted. And in the recent 3-1 Thoughts by Elliot Friedman, we saw him go on a little bit of a rumor spill, and one of the 31 Thoughts was that the Montreal Canadiens, yes, the Montreal Canadiens, this team right here, might be hosting the 2020 NHL draft. And that is very interesting. Now, he said that the Montreal Canadiens were kind of frontrunners for that, or at least they were heavily pursuing the 2020 draft. And I would be very, very big fan of that. Again, when it comes to the 2020 draft, I want to be there for that one. I want to do stuff around that. So going to Montreal, I think would be an amazing event there. But yeah, when it comes to Montreal, they're the team that's been mainly linked. I haven't really heard anything else about any other teams, though. Let me know. By the way, anyone that's in this stream, let me know down below who you think should host the draft, who you want to see host the draft. But yeah, when it comes to Montreal, I'd pretty big fan of Montreal hosting the draft. Not gonna lie, I'd be pretty big fan of that. Now, of course, it's not confirmed or anything. I'll probably make a video once that is confirmed, whether it is another team or something. Probably when it comes to my best case scenario, I would love the Nashville Predators to host 2020 draft. Probably not going to happen since that is my ideal scenario, and I can't have good things. But yeah, when I'm thinking when it comes to that, I think Nashville is up there. I think Minnesota is up there as well for the draft. I wouldn't say Dallas since they had the draft last year. Of course, they're getting the Winter Classic. But when it comes to potential destinations, again, Montreal could be up there. I wouldn't be surprised with that. Maybe a team like Toronto as well. There's a lot of solid options, though, I think, for sure. And Vegas also getting a draft. I would love that as well. Are you going to do another fantasy hockey this year? Yes, Zach, I will be doing that. I'll probably make like 2 different leagues or something, and we'll do something there because I don't think I'll have enough for 20 people only. But yes, I will doing a fantasy league for the league, or I'll probably end up doing 2 fantasy leagues for the entire channel next year. So watch out for that. How long are you streaming? I'd probably say till the top of the hour, so probably like 25 minutes or so. Let's see. Turcotte or Byram, I wouldn't be surprised to see if the Hawks go off the board, though. When it comes to, again, that amazing decision there, Walter. I mean, honestly, they have such a hard decision to make, Chicago. Though, honestly, both players will be fantastic for them. So they're going for a good scenario or a good scenario. So I feel like whoever they go for out of those 2 guys will be the right pick, because I don't think we'll get a right decision right out of the gate. When it comes to Chicago, I'd rather have them take Alex Turcotte. I think he's the first line center for them in the future. While, yes, they need defense now, Bokus Nyokaharju, again, I think is a solid 2 for the next few years. And yes, adding Byram would be amazing to defense. I'm not going to lie, that would be awesome to see. But I feel like Alex Turcotte is the guy they kind of need, with Taves kind of going out of his prime, with a couple other guys not really going up to the task. They need that first line center. And I don't think really Dylan Strome will be that guy, though he could be close. I don't know if I see that as Chicago's a league, to be honest. Let's see. Grav, I think next season is Penn's last season for Pens to win. I mean, when it comes to next year, though, I've said this before. I've said this in the past. If they keep Johnson and Gabranson, just say no to the playoffs, man, because it is not going to happen. If they keep both those guys, just say goodbye. It's not going to happen, my man. Tampa would be fun as a draft host. Tampa, I think they hosted like the 2016 draft, I want to say. Something like that. I'm not sure, though. I'm kind of going on a limb right there. I don't think... when it comes to Tampa, though, I would like that. Not going to lie. What are your top 10 prospect pools? Hey, Sean, I made a video I think a couple months back. You can watch on the channel. I did my top 5 prospect pools in the entire NHL. I would say Montreal, Carolina, New York, Ottawa would be up there right now. And, of course, it has changed since then. Do you think the Wings could get Trouba with 2 of their second-round picks? That's the thing. Like, I feel like with Winnipeg, their price is kind of low with Trouba. He's the kind of guy that could go anywhere in this draft. I think he's the type of guy that does get traded in the draft, during the draft. But I think when it comes to Detroit, maybe you get a second-round pick, maybe add a forward in there. I'm not sure who would give up. Maybe a guy like Anthony Mantha if he's not part of the future there. But I think you would have to give up a solid player in that way back. Winnipeg would want that. But if you get rid of a second prospect or a second-round prospect, maybe you get a guy like a top 6 forward and give it back to Winnipeg, I could see that working for sure. Who do you think the Habs are going to get in the free agent market? I mean, Erik Karlsson has been linked. I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily, but I mean, it would be interesting to see. When it comes to Montreal, though, they have so many different needs when it comes to just the depth-wise. That yes, Erik Karlsson would be cool, but I'm not sure if that's the direct route they should be going, to be honest. Massimo, welcome to the stream, my man. Good to see you. And again, when it comes to this Q&A, if you haven't already, let me know your questions for the draft down below. I'll probably be doing this towards the end, or probably be ending this towards the end of the hour. But again, I want to do something like this before the draft to get your guys' thoughts on the stuff. So yeah, there was 2 buyouts, Minka. The Dion Phaneuf one and the Andrew McDonald one. I'm pretty sure that's his name because he's so forgettable. Now, the Dion Phaneuf one was very expected. We knew that was going to happen, and it happened. That was fine. That was good, and it did happen. For LA, that was one of their biggest tasks in the offseason, was getting that done. So they got it done. That's good for them. But the Andrew McDonald one, I don't know if it came out of left field, but it definitely surprised me a little bit at that exact moment, to be honest. Though with Philly, that's something that they probably should have done a long time ago. I think he has one more year left on his deal, and I would probably stick it out for that. Though Philly has already been in the free agent market getting a guy like Hayes as well. So they do need the cap space, I guess, right now. But I feel like with Andrew McDonald, I would have actually just kept that 1-year contract, kept that contract and had it. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be weird, though. It's going to be weird, not going to lie. NJ has 3 second-round picks and 2/3. If you're sure, do you trade up for a roster player? Let me see. Wait a second. Did the stream just die? that would be hilarious if the stream just died. I think we're good, though. I think we're good. My Wi-Fi is just going out. But yeah, when it comes to New Jersey, though, like, they're interesting. With those picks, though, they already got the first overall pick, obviously. But when it comes to New Jersey, they could be a team that maybe switches out a few of their picks to get a good player. Again, Taylor Hall is a big fish there for New Jersey. They want to keep him there. I think that is wise. But maybe trading one of those second or third round picks in the state that they're in, I just don't really know if they should do that. Hall obviously wants them to go for this accelerated rebuild and be fantastic right out of the gate. But when it comes to what they could do there, again, I think they should go more for free agency rather than trades if they can. And trading those draft picks, I don't know, it would kind of worry me a little bit since I kind of still think they're in that rebuild phase. Though if they get a guy, get a top 6 forward and a couple more depth guys, they could go back to the playoffs. But of course, the Metropolitan Division is freaking stacked right now. Doc or Zegras, who will be long or better long term? When it comes to that whole thing, when it comes to Doc, I think he had him at number 10. I think he had Zegras as number 5 on my. I think I had him at number 6. I think I had him at like number 5 and number 6 in my rankings, my prospect rankings. I think it will be Trevor Zegras. Doc has a couple of big holes in his game, most notably the skating and some issues with the defense. But when it comes to the overall play, I would say Zegras probably will be the better player. Though Doc has the tools right now to become a great player in the future, though he has a lot more risk involved. He's one of those guys that was almost cracking that top 5 riskiest picks video that I did a few days back. So he's a guy that's interesting, though I would say Trevor Zegras. He has so much creativity and kind of is like a player of the future. He's kind of built like the NHL and where it's heading right now. So I would say him. Thoughts on Matthew Robertson? Shane, he's a very interesting prospect as well. He's a defenseman, of course, with the Edmonton Oil Kings. He's a guy that I've just recently kind of fell in love with. He didn't really put up the most points in the WHL. He wasn't really that impressive. But what I saw from Matthew Robertson was very interesting, and I think he has a lot of different tools in a lot of different areas to become a very solid NHL defenseman. Now, I don't think he's going to become this superstar defenseman, but he has a lot of makeup to become a pretty slam dunk top 4 defenseman. I think I had him at number 30. I think I had him in like the 30 to 35 range in my prospect rankings. I still think when it comes to Matthew Robertson, though, he's a very solid defenseman that likely will become a top 4 guy in the future. Kakko goes to the Blackhawks. Are you joking? I'm not sure about that one. I think Blackhawks fans would definitely take that. But I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Who is the most underrated draft prospect? Ishan? I think when it came to my most underrated prospect, it's probably a mixture of guys like Samuel Vegamo. You got a guy like Pavel Dorofiev. You got some other guys like maybe Ilya Nikolaev. Some other solid prospects. But when it comes to underrated prospects, there's a lot of different guys to choose from. I would probably say, though, it's probably Samuel Vegamo because he has been... Oh my gosh, he's been shed by so many different places. I have seen too many places put Vegamo outside of their top 62, and I'm just freaking pissed about that right now. Kakko to Sharks 91st overall. I would like that, not gonna lie. I would like that. If Lafreniere was eligible this year, Kakko or Hughes would have gone to Chicago. You're not wrong, Minka. You're not wrong. Lafreniere would have gone first overall. He would have gone first overall, and that's just the thing. Like, he is so freaking good, man. He could have Crosby-type level stats next year with, I think it's the Oceanic, I think is what they're called. Sometimes QMJHL names can be awfully crazy. But yeah, when it comes to Lafreniere, he's just so freaking insane. It's just stupid how good he is. He would go first overall this year. Now, he's a little bit of an older prospect for next year's draft, but it does factor into it. Do you think Switzerland will be a powerhouse in the future? Switzerland is interesting, William, because they've gotten a couple of great prospects in the past couple of years. They got, obviously, Nico Hischier. They got some solid players right now. Kevin Fiala. You got Roman Josi there as well. They got some solid players. I don't think they'll become a powerhouse per se, though they will have some very solid players. I don't think they'll be as good as like a USA, Canada, Russia, Sweden, and Finland, but I think they'll be a little bit of a second fiddle right there for sure. Lafreniere, exactly why draft should be held in Montreal. So, I mean, you're not wrong there, Luke. You're not wrong, not going to lie. Vegamo goes to the Yotes, second round. Again, if you can get Vegamo in the second round, that is an excellent pick right there, especially if it's like mid to late second round. Like, I would love Vegamo in Dallas, especially in the second round. Like, I would be okay with Vegamo at 18th overall, but I would be ecstatic with Vegamo in the second round. Absolutely ecstatic, because he has so much potential to not be a bust. He's just so good in that area. Who wins their first ever Stanley Cup? Next, Blues and Caps. Jack, that's a good question. I mean, there's some teams that kind of have that era around them that they haven't won the Cup before. The last two winners have been teams that have not won the Cup, which is the most beautiful thing of all time. But yeah, I don't know if that trend will continue next year, but I kind of see a team in the next 5, maybe even 3 years doing the same thing as the Blues and the Caps. It's the kind of thing, like, it's interesting to see what more dynasties we see in the next few years, whether it's a team like Toronto, yes please, or if that maybe prevents things from happening. But that, honestly, it's a question that I kind of gone back and forth. Maybe San Jose, if they're able to keep the band together next season, maybe they have one more shot at maybe the goaltending gets going at least a little bit. Though, I don't know. I would think... No, Tampa already won a Cup. I don't know. I would say San Jose. If you keep everybody, I would say San Jose. Though I'm trying to just think of ones right now. Let me see. Do you think Red Wings trading back into first for left-handed D? Again, Eric, that's the thing. I don't think they should do that. They're in that rebuild phase. I think sacrificing that 6th overall pick to get a guy like Jacob Trouba would be a little bit unwise in my opinion. Now, right now we got 35 amazing people. Right now we are at 22 likes. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Good to see all y'all come through right now. Right now, we're probably going to go 15 more minutes with this stream, so we'll go for a little bit more stuff. But again, thanks to everyone that's coming for this one. Again, I will be streaming the NHL awards on the 19th and the draft on the 21st and 22nd, of course. Let's see. Who completely fell off this year and who came out of nowhere as far as top prospects for you? In this draft, I would say he's the guy... It's interesting because there's not like this kind of Nico Hischier that comes out of nowhere and is this first overall pick. Though there are some guys right there. There was a lot of hype again last year about Vegamo. He went undrafted. He kind of had a little bit of a rough start in the first half, but again got it going in the second half. Was brilliant in the playoffs. So I would say Samuel Vegamo. Again, he had some hype last year in the draft. Went undrafted, but I think it would be my guy this year. Do you think the Rangers have the best prospect pool before or after the draft? Trent, I would say they're definitely top 3 after the draft. You get a guy like Kaapo Kakko or Jack Hughes to that squad. That would be beautiful. I don't know if they're the best prospect pool. I don't think I'd take them over Carolina, but they still have an amazing one. And that future, man, is just oh so good. Let's see. It's a playoff team next season. Lucas, please. I need it in my life. I need it. I need the Coyotes in the playoffs. That would be so good to see. And we already saw Carolina making the playoffs this past season. We saw how good that was to their franchise. I need to see the Arizona Coyotes make the playoffs. Finally. It's been too long, man. It's been too long. Do you see a trade between Montreal Canadiens and Colorado Avalanche? 15th pick. Jonathan Drouin for 4th pick. Canadiens draft Bowen Byram. I don't think you jump up 12 spots just with Jonathan Drouin. I don't think Jonathan Drouin is that valuable, though I could see a connection there. Maybe you get Jonathan Drouin, maybe you add a guy like Victor Mete to that deal, maybe you add a goaltending prospect as well, maybe you give Lindgren up on that deal, maybe you give a guy like Nicholas Juleson in that, maybe you also get another forward, maybe you give up a guy like Andrew Shaw or probably Byron, maybe you give up like in the first round pick, maybe next year's draft. I think they would have to give a handsome sum for that. I don't feel like Colorado really wants to trade that 4th overall pick, though it could still happen. I would say Montreal, though, wants to keep that 15th pick, but if they can trade up, I think they probably will, since we saw them go after Gostisbehere. They want to make some big moves already. Noah Jolson, okay. Is what it is. With a good offseason, the Yotes can make it. Like Michael, exactly. That's what the thing is. Like, they had so many injuries. I think if they bounce back next season, make the playoffs, and get there. But if they can add a solid free agent in the offseason as well, I could see that also propelling them. It's going to be interesting, though, because with Arizona, again, they were so friggin' close. It really does depend on Michael or Darcy Kemper on the end of that season, but still, if they add a couple more pieces, I think they should make the playoffs. Finally, in the first time in forever. Please do not copyright me, Disney. That'd be great. That'd be great. Hey, Grav, Cookie Monster's opinion is better. Welcome to the stream, my man. Good to see you come by for sure. Now, again, to everyone that's watching, I will be streaming on the 19th, the NHL Awards. That should be pretty fun as well. I'll be streaming the draft, the first round for the 5th round as well. Hopefully, I'll see you guys for that one. I predict Arizona will have a great year, and OEL being a main reason why. OEL is interesting because he had a very good season this season, a little bit of a rebounding season, I would say. But if he steps it up another level, I think he should be a Norris candidate. If the Arizona Coyotes make the playoffs next year, he should be a top 5 guy for that. I would assume, right? I would assume. I don't think Arizona's making the playoffs without him, especially. Let me see. The Yotes are not a playoff team next season. It would be so disappointing. The West is the weakest. It's been in a very long time, and it's wide open for them. Exactly, and especially the Pacific Division. Especially the Pacific Division. Now, the Central was not all that much greater in this season, unfortunately, but yeah, I think when it comes to Arizona, they should make the playoffs. It's just the thing if they actually get it done. They've had a lot of chances in the past and haven't gotten it done, so we'll hope they can actually do something. Kakko is a very interesting player because he could be a second-round boy and he would be a good pick. I think if you get him in like the late second round, early this third round, he would be a decent pick. Again, he kind of reminds me I don't know, he kind of reminds me of like a Matt Niskanen who was just recently traded, who doesn't really do anything exceptionally well. He's fine, he's decent in his prime, but I think he's just like a top 4 guy that does his job, and I think that's me with Kakko. I don't think he's going to do anything special. I don't think he's going to be special like a Bowen Byram. I think he'll be a decent pick that does end up making the NHL, but doesn't really do too much. I think he'll be decent, but not the greatest. Let's see. Monday, just subscribe. Thanks so much, Monday. You get the Brad Marchand kiss skip right there. Definitely appreciate it, of course. Now, again, I do need to change that. I do need to change it to a different GIF. Probably for the NHL Awards, they'll do something unique for that, but we'll see. That should be fun, though, for sure. Let me see. Switzerland always does well in promotion it to their population. That's the thing, Michael. Like, the hockey there is already pretty solid. Now, obviously, they're not going to compete with a team like USA, Canada, or Sweden, but they're still going to be pretty solid. I think they will be that. Nico Hischier obviously being the guy in the future. Let me see. I think the Wings want anyone plus a second-round pick for a player. Again, I like the Jacob Trouba option for them as not a one they should go after, but a one that will likely happen. Again, he's a defenseman that can fit that top 2 hole on their team. He's a guy that they'll probably overpay for, but he'll still be decent there. I don't know. I don't think like Detroit should really go after anybody, though. They should keep their picks, rebuild, and just be smart. I don't know why Steve Yzerman would go after that, to be honest. People forgetting the Q is the league with a weakness goaltending, so it's no wonder that Lafreniere has these kind of numbers in the in the CHL. Now, the thing is, like, it's weak goaltenders, yes, but obviously it's going to be high scoring. It's going to be more high scoring than the OHL. That's just what happens in the QMJHL, and especially talents like Lafreniere. It's more just him being an absolute god rather than goaltending being bad, because that's just a constant. You don't see people putting up the numbers that Lafreniere does every single year. Well, you haven't seen it since Crosby, so he's looking pretty good right now. Let's see, now I gotta scroll back in the chat. Now I gotta scroll back and my computer stop being slow. That'd be great. Let's see. When do you think the Canucks will start contending? Will their pick this year help their chances? Honestly, Sauce Leaf, I think next year's the year to do it. I think if they make some decent moves this season, get some solid bounce-back players that could do well for their depth, especially next season, I think they could make the playoffs. Again, in that Pacific Division, I think it's a little bit wide open for them. There are some teams that can maybe bounce down, that they can maybe go up in the rankings, but when it comes to Vancouver, if a lot of things work out, their goaltending stays constant, maybe get a guy like Patrick Gemko, making that next step, I could see Vancouver make the playoffs, just barely, but actually doing it. It would be pretty insane, though. Contending for a cup, they're probably a few years out from that, but contending for the playoffs, maybe as soon as next season, at least consistently. Thoughts on Savoy signing with the Ice? That is a pretty big signing, so of course, Matthew Savoy, one of the biggest prospects in the 2021 NHL draft. I think he's the best prospect in the draft. He signed to the Winnipeg Ice. That's a pretty huge signing. And again, that franchise is absolutely horrendous. They just moved to Winnipeg, and they'll be doing that next season. He'll be a huge ad for them, though, 100%. Let's see. I mean, the only one who thinks that Lafreniere is not a generational talent The thing with Lafreniere, William, I think he's so close to generational talent. I think he's just under that. I think he is absolutely elite, one of the best first overall picks we'll see in a while. I don't think he's generational though, and I have a pretty big standard for generational. I think generational has to be like the best player in a 10-year span, I would say. But Lafreniere definitely has that potential to be that type of guy, but Connor McDavid kind of steals that show. Now, I think he's just under that, but I think he'll be absolutely amazing. It's probably the best first overall pick since McDavid. So that'll happen. I still don't think he's this generational prospect as people are throwing out, but I think he should be fantastic. Do you think Vancouver Canucks trade Elias Pettersson, the 10th pick, for first overall Jack Hughes? I mean, I would probably take Elias Pettersson over Jack Hughes. I don't know. That's actually a pretty interesting question. I mean, I don't think they would, though. I don't think they should. I don't think they're getting rid of Elias Pettersson, Anna. That would be absolutely insane if they do. That would be absolutely an amazing storyline. But I don't see Vancouver doing that. If they can get rid of a guy like Bo Horvat, maybe you get a guy like Ben Hutton after the deal. You have that 10th overall pick. Maybe you get second rounder going back New Jersey. And then sweeten the pot a little bit with maybe a Sven Verchi or something and another prospect. It could happen. But again, that is pretty far out. Vancouver has a lot of pieces, but I don't know if they'll be able to get rid of a guy like Elias Pettersson. I don't think that fan base is going to allow that to happen, to be honest. Who signed finish a D-man Oliver Kasky? What's his long-term potential? Yeah, the Wings ended up signing him. And when it comes to Kasky, I think I don't know if he's overrated, but I think when it comes to the whole signing there, I don't think the whole hype that it really brings up. He had the most shots in the league by a huge margin. He got a lot of power play time, so that's what really inflates the stats there. I think he'll be decent, probably a top 6 defenseman, but I don't think he could be the next coming of Jesus or anything for the Detroit Red Wings. I think he'll be fine, but not really anything crazy. As a Devils fan, I would accept that offer. It would happen, though. Yeah, again, that's the thing. Like, it's interesting with Vancouver because I think they have the pieces to get a guy like Jack Hughes or Kaapo Kakko first overall, but we'll see what actually happens. If they get that first overall pick, they are getting Jack Hughes 100%. Let's see. Now, I also wanted to mention something pretty big as well, is that when it comes to one of the bigger prospects in the draft, Yegor Afanasyev, it was recently confirmed, I think a few hours ago, that he'd be committing to the OHL. Now, he this season was in the USHL, the Muscatoon Lumberjacks, I'm pretty sure, of the USHL. And when it comes to that whole situation, he wasn't really given a great chance to shine, but he goes to Windsor Spitfires of the OHL, which will give him a bigger spotlight there in the OHL, give him some time to really marinate, and again, he will be drafted this season, maybe in the first round, maybe in the second round, but he'll go to Windsor Spitfires. I think that is pretty big news since he will get a bigger look in the OHL. Yes, the USHL scouts are already there, but we will get a bigger look of him in the OHL, which I personally am very excited for. Do you think these Sabres will relocate soon? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. King Angus, how's it going, my man? Good to see you in the chat. Thanks for coming by. If you haven't subscribed to King Angus, make sure you do so. Right now, we got 5 minutes left in this stream, so for everyone in this stream, let me know down in the chat your questions as we round this thing up. Do you think it's possible that the Ducks could surprise? They do a lot of young players, or it could have a lot of young players, plus Perry is probably gone, and with a proper coach, do you think they could surprise? Honestly, the Ducks are interesting. If they get Dallas Eakins, I think Dallas Eakins would be a beautiful fit on Anaheim. If he goes there and is the head coach, I think they could be a surprise team to make the playoffs. And I think that is kind of crazy because I think a lot of people have given up on them. But they've gotten a little bit of a sneaky turnaround of some of their amazing prospects they had before. They were really bad. They get that 9th overall pick, 9th overall pick, and they get a guy like Trevor Zegras. Watch out for Anaheim because you get a guy like Sam Steele, Maxime Comtois, some of those fantastic prospects already. In that Buffalo trade with Montour, they got Brendan Gooley, who's a solid defensive prospect as well. John Gibson, who I think is the best goaltender in the world right now. That is a very stinky team, and if John Gibson is actually able to carry the team like he did last year, and the defense isn't exactly crap as it used to be, I think they could honestly be a very solid team next season. Maybe not a playoff contender, but a solid team that lingers around a lot more than they did this season for sure. Dorofeyev ceiling. Seth, amazing question right there. In my opinion, Dorofeyev has first-line potential. From everything I've seen of him in the NHL, some of the stuff I've seen in the KHL, he has first-line potential. As left winger / right winger, I think he has the potential to be a first-line winger on a lot of different teams. He has so much offensive potential to be that type of guy. I think he will be. That's why I'm so high in my rankings. Do you think Byram could be a face of a franchise? It depends. Like if he's going to Chicago, I think he can be that. But if he's going to Colorado, you already got a guy like Nathan McKinnon. You already got a guy like Gabriel Landeskog. But let's say he goes to Chicago. I can see that happening. Once, obviously, Taves and Kane are gone, I can see Bowen Byram being the face of Chicago in no time. Does Steve Yzerman draft Podkolzin? That's the thing, Ian. They got that Russian connection with Steve Yzerman. He's a big fan of those Russian guys in the draft, with guys like Seider, Kakko from Tampa. I think it could be a case there. I would rather see them go after Zegras or Cole Caulfield, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that ends up happening. I think A.O. Gucci will be a generational talent. I don't think he'll be generational, but I think he will be pretty solid, not going to lie. Jack Hughes falls to the Red Wings for sure, Rob. Yeah, that's totally going to happen. Realistic right there. Will Austin Matthews be over under 82 points? Over 100%. I think he will get 100 points next season. If he is healthy, if he plays all 82 games, he's getting 100 points. He is that good if healthy, and that's just the thing. Because he hasn't been healthy in the past, we'll see if that continues. Who goes third overall to the Hawks? Byram, Turcotte, or Cousins? Michael, I'm thinking right now it is still Bowen Byram, though Alex Turcotte, there has been some reports that Chicago is very interested in him, and that could end up happening, but I think it still is Bowen Byram right now. Who will be better long-term, Afanasyev or Dorofeev? I'll probably say Dorofeev, though Afanasyev is pretty solid as well. Again, I have Afanasyev in my second round, but again, I think like Dorofeev is also very good as well. Let's see, how's that O'Reilly trade looking for Buffalo? Not good. Just wait until we see Hughes gets more points than Lafreniere finishes up with more points in his career. I mean, as an American, I would like to see that, though it's probably not going to happen. So sad. What do you expect the return for BC to be? Probably a couple of draft picks. I would probably say like a 4th or a 5th. I don't think he has too much value, Nathan, though in the draft, I think that's probably where he does get traded. Kwek is Canadian. It's pronounced like cuckoo. He's Canadian? My whole life is a lie. My whole life is a lie, man. Not sure if you talked about this, but who do you think the Sabres will do? Garrett, I think when it comes to the Buffalo Sabres, their pick is Cole Caulfield. If he's available there and he's all good to go, I think they're hands down taking that. He's a great fit, being alongside Jack Eichel, USA-born teammate. I think that'd be a great fit, and I do see him going after that. It does end up happening. Do you think Matt Duchene comes to the Montreal Canadiens? I'd probably say Matt Duchene is more likely to become a Nashville Predator, though when it comes to the Canadiens, they should be a pretty solid contender for him too. Who goes 10th overall? I would still say Matthew Boldy to Vancouver. I like that fit with Matthew Boldy in Vancouver, though. If they get a guy like Trevor Zegras or maybe a guy like Cole Caulfield, I could see that also being the pick there. When is Blues first choice? They'll be picking a 31st overall. Or actually, no. Yeah, because they traded their first round pick, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it would be in the second round, right? I'm pretty sure. Imagine Sean Avery as Leafs GM. I mean, I like Kyle Dubas, but we all got to agree here. Sean Avery will be elite, not going to lie. Do you think the Red Wings will trade for Jacob Trouba? Again, Ian, that connection I think is decent. If they do have to go after a defenseman, I think Jacob Trouba is the guy there for them. Do you think Habs are getting any of the players they're linked to? I mean, Cam York has been linked. I do see that happening in the draft, though. We see Matt Duchene, we see Erik Karlsson. Honestly, I would say a bigger bet is Matt Duchene. I don't think Erik Karlsson is going to the Habs, to be honest. So I still think it would be a pretty decent fit. Do you think Boston takes Greeley? Well, yeah, I did say that in the mock draft that they would go there. Though now Boston's picking number 30, so I guess that does change things. I'm pumped for the draft. King Angus, agreed. If you are not pumped for the draft, make sure you get pumped. It should be amazing. Should be a ton of fun to watch, as well as some of the trades that we might see. Again, I will be streaming that on the 21st and the 22nd. Right now, we got 47 amazing people. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you do so. Good to see all y'all come through today. If you haven't already subscribed, if you haven't already joined the Discord, make sure you do so as well. Good to see all y'all come through. Again, I will be streaming the NHL Wars on the 19th. That'll be the next time I stream, but that'll be the next time right there. Let's see. Last year, the Wings passed on Quinn Hughes to take Zadina. Mistake? Yes. I still think that Quinn Hughes... Well, I had Zadina as my third favorite prospect. Or not my third favorite. My third prospect in last year's draft. Though Quinn Hughes, I think, has the argument to be in the top 3 if it does do a redraft. I think he's absolutely amazing and should be amazing for the Vancouver Canucks. When do you predict Seider to get picked up? I had Seider, I think, going to... I'm pretty sure I had Seider going to the Ottawa Senators, number 19. I'm pretty sure, though, he could be a guy that really does jump up in the early 10s. He's a guy that maybe goes to Florida potentially. So that's the thing right there, though Seider is kind of all over the place in my opinion. Let's see. Okay, everybody, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, make sure you do so. King Angus is speaking the truth right there. If you haven't already hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. make sure you do so. Make sure you do so, boys. And again, tomorrow's video will also be a pretty unique one. I'm not going to spill any of the tea on what it might be, but it is a milestone video as well. So hopefully you guys look out for that one. That one should be pretty fun to make as well. But that'll be it for today's live stream. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure you do so. We got 40 amazing people in here. Again, to everyone that's come by the stream, thanks so much for coming by, giving away your questions for me to answer. It definitely is appreciated. Again, I will be streaming the NHL Awards on the 19th and the NHL Draft for the 21st for the 22nd. That should be a ton of fun to watch, and I will be here for it. By the way, I also want to show you guys something I've been working on. So this little notebook right here, I've been doing a lot of different NHL draft writings. So for instance, I'm just gonna pull it up right here. Let's see, Vasily Podkolzin. So I don't know if it'll go on. Let me see. Hopefully it focuses. But yeah, I got like a lot of different information on stuff. I got some like different gradings. I've been doing a lot of different stuff on a lot of different prospects. And when it comes to the NHL draft on draft day when I'm streaming, let's say Ilya Nikolaev is drafted 26th overall or something. I have some stuff written up on him, so I'm prepared for the NHL draft. I will be there for that one, streaming it on the 21st or the 22nd. A lot of information to give, should be amazing as well, and a lot of fun to watch. But it is time. The NHL draft is almost here. We're 6 days away right now, and I am friggin' hyped. So again, to anyone that's been coming through the channel in the last few months for the NHL draft and on the NHL draft videos, thanks so much. I definitely appreciate every single one of y'all, and the NHL draft is almost here, and we are here. Get hyped, because it is here, boys. So, of course, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next video or stream. Goodbye.